Hi everyone, welcome to Cap at Home. I'm Miss Rachel and today we're going to make paper bracelets. So I'm going to show you what you need and how to make them. Okay, so the first thing you'll need is paper. You can use construction paper or I use a thick cardstock kind of paper for mine. So whatever you have will probably work just fine. You'll also need something to draw with, so markers or crayons or colored pencils. You'll need a regular pencil with an eraser. You'll also need scissors. You'll need a ruler, glue sticks or tape. I'm using this red tape so that you can see it on camera, but if you just have clear tape, that will work perfectly fine. And I think that's it. So once you have all your supplies gathered, you're going to grab your paper, pencil, and ruler first. So I'm going to show you how to make the strips that you need for the bracelets. So for mine, I used a 1-inch strip, which was a pretty good width. If you're going to do this, you can make it a little bit wider like this one, but I would not suggest going thinner than 1 inch. So if you're going to do it wider, then you will measure whatever width you want. I think this is like 1.5 inches, but I'm going to measure at 1 inch down here. I'm going to make a mark at the bottom of my page at 1 inch. I'm lining up the edge here with the corner of the ruler and then making a 1 inch mark. And then I'm going to line up the top and do the same thing. Make 1 inch from the edge. And the reason that I do this is so that I know when I connect these two marks, they will be perfectly aligned and I will have a straight line from the top to the bottom. It won't be narrower at one, or unless I just move the ruler like that, but it will be a straight line if you hold the ruler down and draw from one mark to the other. Okay? Kind of like that. And then you're going to, from this mark here at the bottom, you can see my mess up, but from this mark here, you're going to measure 2 inches, and you're going to do the same at the top. Measure 2 inches, and this is going to be a strip that we divide into boxes so that we can make our drawings that end up being the closures for the bracelet. So I'm going to hold my ruler in place, line it up with my marks, get all of that in the camera so you can see it, and make a straight line from the top to the bottom that is 2 inches from my first line. And then I'm going to straighten this line out because it is messed up. Okay, there we go. So if you're using a pencil and you make some mistakes, you can go ahead and erase them or just use this as the back, which I think I will end up doing. But I'm going to use this straight line that I have here and this straight line and make 2-inch boxes. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to line up my ruler with this line on the left. Okay. And I'm just going to make tiny little marks on the even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Two, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And then I'll use my ruler to connect those lines. And I'm just making these boxes so that I know about how large my closure drawing will be, because I want it to be about 2 inches. You can make it larger. You can make it a more irregular shape. It doesn't have to be in a square or a rectangle. I just use the squares to help me create a border so that I know how big I want it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. So I could divide this up into 6 more strips, and I can make at least 5, I think. Let's see if we measure it. Oh no, I can divide this up into 6 more strips, and I can have what I need to make at least 6 bracelets from one 9 by 12 inch sheet of paper. So that's something to note. If you're doing this with friends, you only need 1 paper to make 6 bracelets. So that's good. So once you have this on your paper, you have your squares and your strip, you'll cut that out. And when you cut it out, it will look like this. You have a strip, and then you'll have your squares, and that's scrap paper. Okay? But you'll only need 1 square, and in that square, you're going to create your drawing. So I've created a drawing already, and then once you create your drawing, you're going to cut it out and throw the scraps in the trash, and then you'll have your strip here. For this strip, I glued 2 pieces of construction paper together, a light blue and then this teal color, and that just makes my paper a little more sturdy. But if you do this with just 1 sheet of construction paper, it will work. You will just have to be careful and not rip it. So to get your wristband to be the size that you need it, you just want to lay your arm down and wrap it around your wrist like this, and then I just kind of put my finger where I had it, where this end met the strip, and made a little tiny a very light mark. And then I'm going to grab my ruler and measure that. So mine comes just under 7 inches, so I will round it up to 7 inches, and I need to add 1 more inch to this bracelet, because when I add my closure on here, I need to have some paper behind it to glue it onto. Well, this one is easier to see. So this is the strip, and this is a 1/2 inch right here, and I needed that extra so that I could glue my image onto it. So if I use a 1/2 inch on both sides, then that means I need to add 1 whole inch to the strip. So my measurement was 7. So now I'm going to draw another mark at 8 inches. And then I'm going to draw a mark 1/2 inch away from 8. And I'm going to do that on both sides of the strip. Okay. Here we go, like that. And then at the other end, I'm going to do the same thing. Line up the edge with the beginning mark of the strip. And I'm going to draw a line 1/2 inch away from the edge. Just eyeball it on the other side. And now I'm going to make a mark about halfway between these marks. Just a little dot like that. Bring it up a little closer so you can see it. I'm going to do the same thing over here at this mark. There we go. So I'm going to cut right here. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. And just cut that. That's the 8 inch mark. And now I'm going to put this in the trash because I don't need it. And now I have my wristband. So at either side, I have these 2 marks and a dot in the middle. 2 marks and a dot in the middle. I am going to connect this dot to the top mark on this side. And then on this side, I'm going to connect it to the bottom mark. These marks are going to tell me where I need to cut my slit so that when I make my bracelet and I want to make it close, I know exactly where to cut the slit so I can do that part. So one of the marks needs to be at the bottom and the other one needs to be at the top. All right. So now that you have this wristband all measured out and all your markings are on there, you can go ahead and decorate it however you want, because you're going to see this part around your wrist, so why not decorate it? Make it cute. I'm just going to add some hearts here. But you can take your time on this one because I made a heart closure. I made the wristband say I love you. So you can write words, you can draw pictures. I'm going to cover up that little thing right there. And I'm going to write, let's see, use another color. I'm going to write fly free. Because I have a butterfly on this one. And butterflies like flowers, so I'll just add a flower there. So you can decorate this however you want. I'm just gonna add something else to my And you'll notice as I'm decorating this, I am not going into these areas outside of these lines because that is where my glue or tape, if you don't have glue, will go so that I can attach my drawing. Okay. Now we want to cut this in half. Bloop. And if you don't have glue, like a glue stick to add right here and here, then here's what you can do with your tape. Take off a piece of tape and just roll the end of it under itself and then just kind of roll it to make this little, ends up kind of being a double-sided tape. You can stick that on there and then stick the left side of your drawing onto the left side of the bracelet. Make sure you can still see your marking so you'll know where to cut. And then for the other side, you'll do the same thing. Take your piece of tape, roll it onto itself to make a double-sided piece of tape. Stick it down here and put the right side of your drawing on the right side of the bracelet. And if you're using tape, you may want to reinforce this because it can just kind of pop off. So I'm going to add more tape on this side, and I'm going to make sure that it's on my drawing and on the strip. So I'm going to there and add that there. I'm going to rip that so I don't see it on the other side. Okay. I'm going to add that there. Oops. I don't want to see it on this side, so I'm going to just trim it down with my scissors. Carefully. Make sure you don't cut yourself. And add a little more right here. And since I tore so much off, I'm just going to keep adding tape. But if you feel like it's secure, then you're probably right, and you don't need to stick all of this tape on there. Okay. So now we have one more step, and I have to cut this right here. So I'm cutting from the top on this side, and then I'm going to cut from the bottom on this side. And now I can loop this around and slide these things right into one another. And voila! Now I have a bracelet. So I'm going to show you what that looks like on my wrist. If I can do it myself, you may need to get someone to help you. When I did this project with my students, we had to kind of help each other put these on. But there you go. You have a bracelet. Paper bracelet. And like I said, with one sheet of paper, you can make up to 6 of these. So go ahead, now that you know how to do it, and make a whole bunch more. Draw your little drawings, decorate your wristbands, make a bunch of bracelets. So thank you so much for joining me today. I would love to see what you make, so leave us a picture in the comments. And if you need me to explain something a little more thoroughly, make sure you put that in the comments too, because I am here to help. And make sure you're following us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to see our library of art tutorials, to get information about other programs that we're doing, and to get news and updates about what's going on with Community Arts Partnerships Detroit. Thank you so much for joining me with Cap at Home. I'm Miss Rachel. We made paper bracelets, and have a great day. Bye.